Welcome back to the Milestone Moment, where we take top producing agents, learn about what brought them to real estate, and then the milestone moment when it all changed. Today we have Mike Ferreri with Windermere Real Estate. Mike, welcome to the show.
Adrian, thanks for having me. I've seen so many of these, and it's pretty wild to be sitting here talking to you, so thanks.
Oh, gosh. Well, very nice of you. Can't thank you enough. So tell us, Mike, how did you... I know a bit about your background, but for our viewers, tell us how you got into real estate or how this all came to be.
Right. Well, I was always intrigued by real estate, being a homeowner and buying homes as I moved across the country. And it was always in the back of my mind. And I rode in college, and Windermere is a big sponsor of the Windermere Cup. And when I was at Como Television, we started a thing called the Media Cup, which was a rowing race between TV stations.
Nice.
Started out with my my former intern, who was a rower at UW, Jenny Vestnaver at the time. She had gone to CBS, and so we raced our boats against each other. She's now a really successful realtor in Park City, Utah.
Oh, nice.
And I got to know a lot of the folks with Windermere then. And over time, and doing this event every year, some of the folks, Shelley Rossi with Windermere, and Mary Lynn Thompson told me, you should get into real estate. So they kind of planted in the back of my mind. And my dad, I know. And my dad passed away in 2017. I'd been doing TV for a while, and just the industry was changing quite a bit, and really thought about doing something else. So I started kind of going through things, taking some class, and then fell off again, started covering the Seahawks and doing the thing.
It's exciting sports.
Exactly. And so I was always kind of in the back of my mind. And then in 2021, a lot of things changed at my TV station. They laid off a lot of people. It just was different.
All remote, all different now. COVID changed, I assume.
Totally. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to pull an Edgar here. I'm going to go out on my own terms and do something else that I've always wanted to do. And so just jumped into it, got licensed, told them 6 weeks left before my contract was up that I was done, and left television, took some time off, did some trips, and got to know my wife a little better, and got into a full scale, and I love it. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, I had something that I was like, one of 6 people that had my job in Seattle, if you consider TV sportscasters, to one of many thousands that have this job in this region. So you got to stand out, be different.
Well, I mean, obviously, super impressive history you had on TV. I mean, 20 years, but then to go there and start a whole new career. I know. As successful he has been is remarkable, I'll tell you that.
Some people thought I was crazy, but you know what? You only miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I love this.
So
I love it.
Might as well.
You got to do it. I love it.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like? Obviously, you've had tremendous success. I think obviously much because you're such an amazing people person from my perspective. But anything that you think helps you stand out in real estate? Is a lot of your connections? Is it just how you work?
Right.
Like, tell us what your secret sauce might be.
I like to think I lead with kindness, and I connect with people. I love to communicate and have conversations and learn about others. The sports background, the TV background definitely helps because you can speak in a lot of common terms with people and connect that way. Seattle's a different market, whereas if I had my TV job in Boston, I wouldn't be able to go out to dinner at a place like here without being bothered. Whereas in Seattle, people just didn't really seem to care that much. So
you're just the sports guy.
Right? It's not that huge cachet. So it's like I was just glad my elevator card worked when I worked in television. But for the most part, I think it just comes from being fair with people, and what I bring to my relationships with people I work with, and really just friends, but especially when I work with people, is being around Pete Carroll so long. You really saw what it meant to compete. And you could have fun doing it. And we had fun covering him, but it was definitely fun to know that, while he was a fun guy, he was serious. He was driving for results. And you always got to be competitive. And when I look at whether it's, a single person or a family or a couple or you name it that I'm working with, I always talk about that. We're a team. And I bring sports into it. We're going to have a 24-hour rule that, if we go for a house and put our best foot forward, if we don't get it, okay, take 24 hours, just think about it. Get past it, and then let's move on. So it definitely is about,
a lot of sports analogies and whatnot.
It's competitive. I mean, what other industry are we in where you're just going head to head? And I was thinking about it this morning. at least Pete knew what maybe the other team was going to be coming at him with a little bit.
Yeah.
You just don't know. I mean, if you're getting an offer together with some clients, you don't know who else is out there that you're competing
with. 3 offers,
with.
could be 10, could be nobody. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so you got to optimize, and you got to really put that best foot forward with everything you can do.
I love that. So you're using the background that you had in sports to obviously just connect with your clients, get on the decision-making team, and then put your best foot forward, and then you had to win, right? There's a zero-sum game, right? You either get the house or you don't.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
So with all of your background in this area and obviously your connections, what are some things that you still do to kind of stay connected with maybe your TV groups and or the community? Or kind of tell me a little bit about, I know if you see Windermere Cares, I think has a lot going on. Do you establish much in the Windermere side of things, or?
Right. So basically, I as far as my old folks in TV and people who know, that's like a family. You know, you were with them at critical times, dinner time, and Mary Nom and Eric Johnson. I saw more of them than my family over the years.
Gosh, right.
As far as like staying community connected, there's a big thing I do every year that I kind of fell into organizing called the Santa Paddle.
Okay.
We basically go out and paddle in Santa suits around Christmas time and raise money for families going through cancer.
That's
it's a
amazing.
direct impact. It's not a huge fundraiser, but we literally deliver cash envelopes to people going through cancer, and just try to break it up and have as much reach as we can have. The Windermere Foundation is something we do, which I'm sure you're aware of. Every transaction, a percentage of that goes to homelessness here in the area and getting people into housing, and that's a big driver with Windermere, and I'm proud to be a part of that as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're the Santa piece with your rowing background. I guess that goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah, and paddleboarding is a huge community here.
Oh, it's a paddleboard. Okay.
Yeah, paddle. Sorry,
oh,
paddleboard.
Got it. Oh, I thought it was rowing,
huge
but paddle. Okay.
Yeah, and we had a lot of the people in the outrigger canoe community came out with us this year. If it's a human-powered craft, you can come out and do it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we always do it like a week before Christmas.
I was gonna say it's got to be cold out there.
Yeah, and we had the most participation this year in the worst weather ever.
Oh my God.
So
that's growing.
But it was
that's
fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, my designated broker came out this year from Mercer Island. Rachel, she had never really done that before, and you start getting new people in. That's what you want to do. You want to pass on that tradition and just help people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. So what is the moment that it all changed for you in real estate? Obviously, the premise of our show being a milestone moment, and you maybe have more than one, but what do you think your moment is? And of course, maybe it's the day you walked out of the sportscaster booth.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to take your moment.
No, thank you. I was thinking about it because obviously I'm familiar with the show, so I watched, and thank you for allowing me to have more than one.
Yeah.
I won't go on and on. I think the first one I had was one of the first transactions I ever did. I worked with an older woman in her 80s in Woodinville, and she had been dating a guy, or been with a guy for like 20 years that she dated back in high school.
Wow.
They kind of had different things happen, and then they came back together.
Okay.
And oddly enough, I tell this story all the time, but they hunted all over the world. And so they had really major taxidermy in this A-frame home in Woodinville that was beautiful, that we had to get rid of.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting rid of that through various ways. We didn't throw it away. There's a place called Stokes Taxidermy down near Port Orchard. We auctioned them all off and got her some money.
Wow.
Did some stuff. And so what she wanted to do was transform the home, because it was his place. And she had come there to live with him after they got back together, but she couldn't really do it the way she wanted. So right away, like, I was in this business and I was like, well, she has a vision, let's go forward. And so we basically flipped the home. And
for her.
Yeah, we got it the way she wanted to leave it very nice for the next people.
Okay,
she was going to a different place to live.
Okay, got it,
and that was her chance to make it, all shiny and new for someone else.
Love it.
And so we did all that, and it was amazing to go. It was kind of crazy time, during COVID, the long open houses, so many in at a time.
Right, yeah.
And went on offer review day, and I'll never forget, like, she had like the earnest money check, and she calls me up. She says, "Mike, what do I do with it? I've never held something this big before." I'm like, "Call your financial guy, let's do it." But I think during that, I just really felt like, how important it really is for people to go through these things. Start chapters, start new chapters, set up. I got to know the buyers as well, and they came into this new, just really cool house.
Right.
And it
was
just kind of worked for everybody.
Helped make a reality. Oh,
yeah, it was
awesome.
like a win-win, you know? So that was really cool. And the other like moment I would say is when I met all the great people with Windermere, it was part of the Jacoby 6, which was kind of the downtown offices. Okay. And I live in Snoqualmie, but a lot of my life was in Seattle because of TV and then covering sports. I kind of go everywhere. Right. And when I got into it, I started with the Jacoby 6 because I wanted to. I have Laura Smith is a wonderful human that works with Windermere, and she found a really good office for me to go to in Wedgwood. And what an indoctrination in real estate. There's some great brokers up there. You learn so much, and you really kind of just get the feel of it. Because this is, I always tell people, this is not selling Sunset. This is not some handbags and sports cars. Right. This is like the real deal. I think people's perception of it is different. Sure. Yeah. You got to take your knocks. Like I said, I was just another person getting in the business. Sure. There's nothing, you got to make yourself special, right? So I did that commute. I'm a big office person. Okay. I like to go to the office. Yeah. I think that's where it happens, where you have the conversations, where you learn from others. And there was one day where I think I had a meeting at Sammamish. I had a listing in West Seattle. I had to go back to Wedgwood to get some forms. It was a beautiful sunny day. My buddies are out paddleboarding. And I was on the bridge and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I need to make a change here because there's too much time. I'm just not in a strategic position. And prior to that, I had met the two owners of Windermere and Mercer Island. Yeah. And that's kind of what led me to that question. Sure. And so I'm like, I need more time doing than driving. Right. Because I'm driving enough with clients. Yeah. Like, I need time in the office to make that difference. And so over the course of time, I just ended up switching to the Mercer Island office. Okay. And it's been a massive change in so many ways.
Straight shot, easy.
Yeah. And I can't say enough about the two ladies that own my office, Trish Coy and Rachel Mimadagic. I mean, they're amazing. And it's just kind of taken me to a different level. I love that. And it's been really helpful, and being 20 minutes from home. Right. You know, makes all the things work better. It makes all the difference. That's so it's been really big, but it was kind of that, it was right on the I-90 bridge. Okay. I had that moment in the sunshine on a summer day, like, what am I doing? Stuck in a car, taking way too much time away from everything else. Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly like that because you're doing that enough as it is. Right. So I love that. That was probably the two. The service component, changing lives, and then what can you do to really look at your business to be better and, you know, put more time into the things that matter. I love that. Now, you know, we're crazy enough have like 16,000 subscribers on this channel, a lot of which are newer agents. That's awesome, by the way. Good numbers there. I don't know how. It's just, great guests like yourself, I think. Yeah. But what's any advice you have for a newer agent? Obviously, an interesting market that we're in. And well, I'll just put it bluntly. I forgot who said it, but getting old's not for pussies. Okay. Real estate's not for pussies. Just working hard. Yeah, you cannot be a wimp in this business. Yeah. You're going to take knocks. The people down the street who you think are friends are going to list with someone else. It's okay. Yeah. Don't take it personally. I did in the beginning. Okay. Don't worry about that, because you have to look at it that if that doesn't happen, then that's opening up an opportunity for something better to come along. Yeah. And you have to be okay with that. And you just have to just get better, keep learning. There's so much more. You know, I went to do sports every day. I didn't know what was going to happen. Right. Yeah. Real estate's the same way. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen day to day. You don't know who's going to call. Roll with the punches and need something. Exactly. Yeah. Keep yourself consistent. Keep your process consistent. That's the main thing I learned. Goals are great. Yeah. I want to sell $80 million worth of real estate, in general, like someone might say, but it's the process that's going to help you win. And you hear that word a lot, but I do believe in it. I do. I love that. And I also, we always on our team, we never get too high or too low. Right. Like, hey, we have the great closing. It's like, okay, well, that's great. Yeah. Or you have the one that you lost. It's like, okay, well, that's, you lost it. But just saying it's even keel as possible. Do you remember Bill Cowher, Steelers head coach? Yeah, absolutely. He had daughters that played basketball. Okay. And his message to them was, I want to walk in the gym and look at your face. And I don't want to know if you're up 20 or down 20. Okay. I want a consistent performance. Right. And I've always remembered that. You got to, I think consistency is in anything is going to help you. Yeah, I love that. So we're halfway through the year, which is crazy, in 2026. Right. Is there anything that you brought into your business this year or carried over from last year that you're continuing to do that's been working well, or anything new that you're looking at
implementing or anything that you're kind of excited about?
The marketing I have in my office continues to get better. I think the information they put out that helps buyers and sellers and maybe people that are thinking about doing something just familiarize themselves with myself, my process, my office is definitely huge. I think the one thing that has really helped is I'm part of a group of agents that meets every 6 weeks or so through Windermere in different spots. And we kind of have these micro meetings where we're all in different, the people in my group, there's someone in Medford, Oregon, Utah, California, Seattle, Port Orchard, myself.
Wow.
And one of the brokers from Port Orchard was talking about a system and intake type form that, you have that call, you get going, you want to really know more about them.
Yeah.
Without like pressure and having to remember. So I have an actual buyer and seller form that she was kind enough to share with me, and I tailor-made it for myself with my marketing folks. And that's been like a huge improvement because it really lets you know what they want and what they're looking for, and gets a lot of the simple questions out of the way very quickly. So that's kind of that more of that process component that definitely helps the execution overall of the business.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
In a crazy market that we're in right now, somewhat crazy, I think it's all about certainty and affordability and all the things. Any advice you're giving either to sellers about potentially selling this year or buyers or anything?
Right. I got a couple of those. Coming. I just had one, and we went in 2 days. And why did we do that? Because it was preparation and price. I think you have to be realistic.
Yep.
Bob and Sue got a ton of money 2 years ago because they decided to sell.
Yeah.
That's likely not going to be the case for you.
Right.
You really need to look at the price and be realistic, unless you want to sit on the market. And if you don't want to move, I got one of those currently that some folks that just are stuck on a number.
No idea.
That's okay.
Okay.
We'll keep trying, As far as buyers, I would say, inventory-wise, there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
It's a great time to be a buyer.
Yeah.
This kind of level of real estate where there's a lot of negotiating going back, a more traditional form of agents working together.
Right.
I never look at another agent as an adversary.
Right.
When we go mutual, we're all a team.
Yeah.
We're working together for the buyers, and they may never meet,
100%.
but we are all coming together to get the closing.
I love that.
Because I always tell folks, from for sale to pending is one thing.
Yeah.
The pending to closed is really where everything happens and where things can fall apart or where things come together.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the most critical part. But that's probably what I would say. I would say maybe set some realistic expectations, and if you're a buyer, go get it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for being on the show, and we'll see you on the paddleboard here in December.
Yeah, man. We should get out sometime for
Thanks
sure.
for being on the show,
Yeah,
Mike.
thanks for
Great.
having me.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care.